chosen topic is water cycle. Are you excited of knowing what is more about water cycle and to appreciate the importance of water in our life? Water cycle is a way that water moves through the earth. It doesn't have a beginning or an ending. It is like a big circle. Water is the basic building block of life on Earth. Without water, we will all die. Water regulates temperature of the planet and cycles essential nutrients through the biosphere of all living beings. Examples of how water cycle regulates temperature is first, evaporation cooling oceans. How? When ocean water evaporates, it absorbs heat from the surface, preventing excessive warming. This process helps regulate coastal temperatures and keep ocean's ecosystem stable. Next, cloud formation and heat reflection. Water vapor condenses into clouds, releasing stored heat into the atmosphere. Cloud reflects sunlight, preventing overheating of Earth's surface. Also, the flow of water through the biosphere is called water cycle. Did you know that water cycle is also known as hydrologic cycle? And the Earth has been recycling same water for 4 billion years. Isn't that amazing? And have you ever wondered, do plants sweat? Well, sort of. We people perspire, also known as sweating, while plants transpire. So, what is transpiration? Transpiration is the process by which plants loses water out of their leaves. This water evaporates and goes to condensation to form clouds. So plants also contribute in evaporation, also in water cycle. So now you already know what is water cycle. Next, we will know the different steps of water cycle.
So how can we understand this magical process called water cycle? So there are 4 main parts of the water cycle, namely the evaporation, convection, precipitation, and collection. So first, I'll discuss about the evaporation. So what is evaporation? So evaporation is when the sun heats up water in rivers or lakes or the oceans and turn it into vapor or steam. The water vapor or steam leaves the river, lake, or ocean and goes into the air. So example is the transpiration. So transpiration is the process by which water is transported through a plant from the roots and into the leaves and is then released into the air as water vapor. This process occurs mainly through small openings on the surface of the leaves called stomata. So now that we have learned about transpiration, did you know that the transpiration gives evaporation a bit of a hand in getting the vapor back into the air? So let's move on to the next topic, which is the convection. So what is convection? So convection in the water cycle is when the air near the surface is heated, then rises taking heat with it. Water vapor in the air gets cold and changes back into liquid, forming clouds. This is called condensation. So for example, you can see the same sort of things at home. Just like when you pour a glass of cold water on a hot day and watch what happens. Water forms on the outside of the glass. That water didn't somehow leak through the glass. It actually came from the air. Water vapor in the warm air turns back into liquid when it touches the cold glass.
Next is precipitation. Precipitation is a vital process in the earth-water cycle. So by its definition itself, it occurs when the air reaches its limit of holding water, causing the condensed water to fall back to the earth. This process begins when water evaporates from the ocean, lake, and rivers into the atmosphere where it cools and condenses into clouds. As the cloud grows and accumulates more water, they become increasingly heavy. The water droplets in the clouds collide and merge, forming larger and larger droplets. This process continues until the droplets become too heavy to remain suspended in the air. The clouds become saturated and the water falls to the ground in various forms. The precipitation that falls to the ground can make forms including rain, hail, sleet, and snow. So I will explain it one by one. So the rain is the most common precipitation form, and occurring when the air is warm enough to melt the snowflakes or ice crystals. Next is hail. Hail forms when updrafts in the thunderstorms carry water droplets up into the freezing level of atmosphere, where they freeze into small ball of ice. Next is sleet and snow. It is formed when the air is cold enough to allow the water droplets to freeze into ice crystals before they reach into the ground.
Lastly, collection or storage. A lot of Earth's water does not take part in the water cycle, very often because of its too much stored. The Earth stores water in a number of places, such as, first, the ocean. The ocean is the largest storage of water. Around 96% of the Earth's water is stored in the ocean. However, we can't drink the salty ocean water because, unfortunately for us, fresh water is also stored in lakes, glaciers, snow caps, rivers, and below the ground in groundwater storage. At this time, we will talk about the importance of water cycle and why do we need to understand its steps, such as the evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and lastly, the collection. Understanding the water cycle is essential because it regulates Earth's climate, supports ecosystem, and provides fresh water to all living organisms, including us, the humans. Each step, evaporation, condensation, precipitation, collection or storage, ensures the water is continuously purified and distributed, sustaining agriculture, drinking supplies, and natural habitats. By understanding these processes, we can better manage and address environmental challenges such as droughts and flooding. Additionally, it helps us recognize human impacts on the cycle, such as pollution and deforestation. It's so sad, but it is happening today. This allows more sustainable water use and conservation efforts when we talk and understand the importance of the water cycle.
Let's do our recap about water cycle. So water cycle is the continuous process by which water is circulated between the Earth's oceans, atmospheres, and land. So the first water cycle is the evaporation. So evaporation, water heats up, turns into vapor, and rises from oceans, lakes, and rivers into atmosphere. Next is condensation. Water vapor cools, condenses into clouds, fog, or dew, releasing heat into atmosphere. Next is precipitation. Precipitation, water droplets in clouds get heavy, fall to ground as rain, and hail, sleet, and snow. So the last one is the collection and storage, which is it collects in rivers, lakes, receivers, and aquifers, recharging groundwater and supplying fresh water.